Hello YouTube, I'm this guy and we're bringing you guys a video on the first place deck of the UK Nationals this past weekend. The SEKKA'S Burning Abyss deck. I was going to make a meta analysis, but I was going to see myself basically talking about this deck like 90% of the video anyway, so I thought it would be easier and save some time for you guys just to talk about this deck in general and why it won the Nationals at his event. So I wanted to dive into this deck, break this deck down little by little, get a better understanding of why he won the event, and the card choices he made was really brilliant on his part. So I think the credit goes to his deck building, why he chose BAs. I think that's the key thing, is why he chose BAs out of every other deck. There's other decks that can use SEKKA'S Light, but he chose BAs, and that's what I wanted to discuss, is the BAs themselves and why they performed so well in this event. I'm going to start off by just getting the hand traps out of the way, because it's kind of, standard, and there's probably not much to say about it. He ran the Ashes, he ran the Drill and Walkbirds, and the Effect Veilers. Effect Veiler probably being the weakest out of the three. But Effect Veiler is basically fuel for his Blackluster Soldiers, which is what he ran. I'll talk about that next after the hand traps here. But he basically built it to where he knew he was going to cut, which, you're probably going to get your top cut with the BAs themselves. A lot of BAs have been topping anyways in the last 2-3 years now. So BAs has been that deck that's always been on the bubble, always been able to top. It's just I can't get over the horror of getting a event like this, which he did. I mean, the hand traps disrupt, which is key, I think, to this deck in general, because this is probably a turn 2 deck, I'm assuming, because of the way he had it built. And with the SEKKA'S Light, you not being able to run trap cards or spell cards, you can't disrupt anyways. So you want to be able to go second. The Blackluster Soldier. Blackluster Soldier is actually a problem card. I'm sure he assumed that was going to be a problem card. It was a boss monster that he desperately needed, besides the Beatrice and the Dante's. Blackluster Soldier has always been that key card for any BA player. Even back when BAs were at their prime, Blackluster Soldier was that card where it was a spot removal card and also a boss monster. It did clear boards because it's able to attack twice when it can destroy a monster. So he did go into that a little in his deck profile. His deck profile was really good, and he did really good explanations on stuff, which, I really encourage people to look up that deck profile. Maybe I'll link in the description box. I'll link his deck profile. Definitely look at it. But yeah, that's it for the Blackluster Soldier. It's just another boss monster, another problem card for people to worry about. And he ran the Rescue Cat NG, which was really, really smart. I didn't even think of that. I forgot Rescue Cat was even a thing, for one. And SEKKA'S Light actually helped his NG out a lot if you think about it. Because if he did ever draw into his Elephant and he has SEKKA'S Light in graveyard, he could always put that Elephant back into the deck, so he can always go in his Notary Beast if he needed to. But the way he was talking, it seemed like he never actually relied on the Notary Beast unless it was like a certain matchup. Notary Beast was just that card there that he knew could blow out certain decks, and if they weren't ready for it, which a lot of decks weren't, which that's on their part. That shouldn't take anything away from him. That's just bad deck building. Kaiju's has always been like almost a staple in every deck, so for someone not to be running Kaiju's, that's a mistake on their part. Granted, this guy's not running Kaiju's either, but at the same time, he doesn't need to run Kaiju's. He has other cards that can do the exact same thing Kaiju's do, which is get problematic cards off the field, which like his BLS, his Farfuz. His Fairy Tale Snow can do the same thing to a degree, but Fairy Tale Snow is just that card that just can disrupt if you need it to. So It's always good to have a Fairy Tale Snow at your disposal, which I'm always on the fence with Fairy Tale Snow though, but I will always have Fairy Tale Snow in my BAs because it's just that disruptor card that you need. But anyways, the Rescue Cat NG though, he did run the 3 Star Beasts, which was very, very smart in his part. Everyone's like trying to build or copy his deck, and they're only putting 1 or 2 Star Beasts in their deck. That's not smart, because that third one is actually crucial if you think about it. Because if you go into your, let's say your Neteria Beast, then at that point, if you only run 1 or 2, then you basically, Rescue Cat is now dead. That third one actually makes it where Rescue Cat is not dead, because you can always go into your Beatrice or your Dante plays with that card, so you don't have to waste a BA monster, because you can always go Dante, and then that BA that you would have had to use to overlay, you could just pitch it for the Beatrice. So when he explained that, it was really, really good for him to explain that, because it made sense. And he didn't even have to say it, and I would have understood why he ran 3, because I would have ran 3 too myself, because you don't want that Rescue Cat being dead after you hit the Neteria Beast play. So very understandable why Star Beast would be at 3, never below 3, and anyone running less than 3 really needs to think about that. And then the 3 finished Rhinos, you want to run 3 because you're running a lot of non-Burning Abyss monsters in your deck, and if you do so, then you definitely have to max out on that Finished Rhino, because Finished Rhino will make sure you extend your plays even more. So and then he ran the Cerebus, which was a genius idea on his part. Him understanding stuff targets, that's going to be the only out for the Neteria Beast and other stuff, and knowing that he definitely was a very intelligent guy by putting Cerebus and understanding that stuff targets. And I've been saying that for like the past 2 weeks now, that a lot of, like I said, when I was studying the meta and I was breaking the meta down myself, like off screen, that's why I built my Blue Eyes White Dragon Nightmare deck, because I have built-in anti-targets monsters that you have a difficult time getting over without having to target, and that's when I seen the weakness of the meta, which you target a lot, and if you can't target my stuff, you're probably going to be struggling, which a lot of decks did struggle against my deck and my locals, especially the meta decks. They had a really, really, really difficult time getting over and getting out of that Max Dragon. But Cerebus basically serves that same purpose as that Max Dragon. You negating a targeting effect, which a lot of people are just running the 1 anchor. If you stop that anchor play, they're probably going to be struggling. If you stop that Infinite Imperience, they probably only have 1 anyways. So you just stop that. Then that's it. That's all they have. That's the only outs they have for the Neteria Beast, and you win, because where the meta also lies, the weakness lies in, is the incapability of recovering from stopping disruption. And what I mean by that is, like this deck here, for example, BAs, they're known for this, where if you stop the disruption, at least they can float. The meta can't float. So it's not like Gokis, for example. They build a big board, you break it, they get pluses off them breaking that board. That doesn't happen. BAs, on the other hand, which I'll talk about more about the BAs themselves, but BAs, if you break their board, at least they can float. At least they can recover from you breaking their board. Add stuff from the graveyard to hand, special summon stuff from the graveyard to the field, special summon from the deck to the field. So you think you have one problem, then you have another, and if you can't stop that, then you're gonna have a really, really difficult time with the that game, that duel in general. Anyways, but yeah, Cerebus though defeated it, had its purpose. A lot of people are like analyzing this card way too much. It's just a simple fact: you target a lot. You Trick Sky Strikers, Pure Sky Strikers, Gokis even target. All their Nightmares target, their Firewall targets. So Cerebus basically fit that role where you you stop it. And like I said, it's not a good card. By no means is it a good card, but in a deck where you can't use spells or traps, you need to be able to disrupt your opponent, and he is a monster, so he fit that role really, really well, which is protect my monster. Moving on to the BAs themselves. The BAs is that deck where, it's like a cockroach. I'm going to put BAs under cockroaches. It's like you think you kill them, but then more come. It never dies. I mean, if the atomic bomb blew up the field, or like Judgment Dragon blew up the field, it's like you think you killed the cockroaches, but then more come crawling around somewhere and out of nowhere. This deck is never gonna die. That's what I love about BAs too. BAs is probably my favorite archetype. Since the BAs were released, I've always been on the BA bandwagon. I've never fell off. So for me to see this deck and for it to win a Nationals in 2018, I was very, very happy. And I think the credit goes to the BAs themselves, because of what BAs can do. I mean, BAs can disrupt, BAs can float, BAs can make sure your board, when your board gets broke, you don't die. You always will be able to recover from it. Them being able to float is very crucial. That's where the meta, I think's weak to, is they can't float. So if you break the board, they really don't have anything to back up on. And since you are so reliant on your negations, your protectants, if your board gets broke, I mean, what are you gonna do? See, with BAs, if you break my board, I'm not worried about it because I've got cards to back up on. I've got monsters effects to back up on. They are severely relied on their monsters effects, which is why SEKKA'S Light was such a good idea. And I was always high on the SEKKA'S Light. I was actually severely thinking about, I know I'm not copying this guy's deck whatsoever, but I was severely thinking about making a SEKKA'S Light BA deck. But I wanted to wait until we got our Link monster to do so, because that Link monster is really, really good. But if he had the Link monster to his disposal, you can only imagine what this deck could do. It's really, really good. BAs is, like I said, I just love the archetype BAs. BAs has just been that deck where it's so relied on, and you can always rely on it to get you what you want, which is your invite, because it will always be able to top. Because, like I said, it's that deck where you do struggle against, especially if you're not ready for it. A lot of people weren't ready for the BA matchup, so I think that's where most of its success was no one was expecting BAs to be in this event, so who was going to side against it? Let's go on to his side deck real quick, because I really want to talk about just himself, and I just want to give all the credit to him because he deserves it. He really does. The side deck was 2 anti-spell fragrances, 2 ogres, 1 Imperial Order, 3 magic reflectors, the 3rd Cerebus, the 1 Shadow Dragon, the 3 spear modes, and the 2 Vanity Fiend, which I love that card. I love that he used it. Very smart on his part. And just to get this out of the way, when I made my deck profile, I sort of made a point of not putting cards in your deck that hurts you. In his main deck, there's nothing in his deck that actually hurt him. His side deck, on the other hand, yes, Vanity Fiend can hurt him because he does rely on his special summons. But at the same time, that Vanity Fiend is also like a complete blowout for Gokis, because Gokis are not ready for that card. So it's basically like a gimme win with Vanity Fiend against Gokis. Pendulum Magicians, it's sort of the same thing, especially if they don't have the Poison Magician. It is a blowout on their part. So with those 2 matchups, that Vanity Fiend is clutch. It is a complete blowout. Not so much the Magicians, but more so against the Gokis. And then his extra deck was pretty standard. Your Nightmare package, the Unicorn, Phoenix, Mermaid, Cerebus, Deco Talker, 2 Dantes, the Pilgrim, the Kingstone, the Warlord Dragon, the Beatrice, the Nightmare Shark, the Super Qualcomm, the Undertaker, and then I hate people are saying this, but the card that everyone thinks that won him this event here, the Nat Beast. But yeah, that's it for his deck here. I just want to give his credit is due, which is this Thomas Rose, the piloter, the deck builder, the mind behind this deck. No one should be taking credit away from this guy. Understandably so, yes, maybe Nat Beast did put in work for him, but at the same time, it's not his fault people weren't ready for it. That was just his way of combating against the meta, and it worked to his advantage, rightfully so. Because if you're not ready for a certain card, then that's on you for not being ready. Obviously, this guy put a lot of time and effort into this deck. Looks like he put a lot of testing involved with this deck. So he was really, really prepared for this event. And, all the credit should go to him. And it really aggravating me, and it's really frustrating for me to see people, downgrading this deck and saying Nat Beast is the reason why, or SEKKA'S Light is the reason why he won. That's very, very, very untrue. I totally disagree with that. And I'm going to be the guy, this guy here is going to be the guy that gives this guy full credit for winning the event, having full knowledge of the meta, how to combat that meta. And he is on to something, especially when you win an event like this where the meta is the way it is and you play no spells or traps. That should be saying something. And I've been saying that for a while now, where spells and traps are becoming less and less relevant. Last format, it was the same thing almost. You didn't see a lot of spells or traps being used. And it's just time for SEKKA'S Light to basically kick in. And I think we're going to see a lot of SEKKA'S Light builds now, because people are going to start realizing that spells and traps are not really relevant. And if they are, you can always side them and then side in the SEKKA'S Light. And then going to, it's not so bad now, especially when you have hand traps like he did. He has a lot of disruption in his deck, with the BAs themselves being able to disrupt. People need to understand that what he did is really difficult. It's really, really difficult. Piloting the BAs, and BAs takes skill too. It takes a lot of skill. You need to know when to hit that Farfight. You need to know when to hit the Beatrice. Through testing and everything, you need to know when to hit that Kyle Cab during certain decks. What do you hit with Farfoot in certain matchups? That takes skill, and I think people severely underestimate that. People severely underestimate the skillful level that you need to be able to win events like this with BAs, because you can't just put BAs in anyone's hands and then think that, oh, well, I'm going to win. That's not true. He also mentioned, which I think is key here and something to look at here, none of his matches went past 30 minutes. That means he was able to beat his opponent under 30 minutes in a match. That means none of his, he said, but one, but that doesn't count because it was like early rounds and it was against some weird deck, he said. But I think that's something to think about here. Him being able to win under 30 minutes. That's something I wanted to sort of give him credit on. I think I don't know if he knew. Maybe he realized it later down the road or after the event, maybe. I don't know. But I've been saying this, and I'm going to mention it now because I think it's important to throw out here. If you don't go into time against these decks, will they win? I would love to look at the win percentages of these decks that have won in these events and see how many times have they won in time. I think that's really important to look at and really important to key into. And maybe that has a lot to do with him being able to blow out his opponent, but Nat Beast it's just one card. I mean, there's other cards that can do what Nat Beast does and can blow out the opponent. So And that's why I sort of wanted to build my Blue Eyes White Dragon Nightmare deck, because it will never go into time. It's either I win by round or turn 4, or I'm going to lose. I mean, that's the way I built my deck. That's how I wanted to build it, because I wanted to see if I'm able to battle them without going into time, and I had success doing that. Like I said, I'm definitely going to build my deck more consistently, more better. I'm going to build my deck to where I'm turboing out max more, not so much reliant on my Mermaid NG. Like I said, this past weekend I'm going to go to my locals with the version 2 of my deck. Once I get my deck finalized, I will definitely put a finalized deck profile for the Blue Eyes Nightmare deck. But this guy kind of hit the nail on the head when he said that you know, he had time to rest, which, you know, was, I guess, important. I mean, you do want to rest between your rounds, but I think he knew that going into time was not best for him. He did run bar, which, you know, it can steal games in time, but not one, like he said, not once did he go into time, because it was basically he was able to blow out his opponent early game and not worry, but not going into a grind game. Because that's not beneficial to him going into a grind game. Yes, he can outgrind his opponent, I'm sure, because BAs can outgrind almost any deck. But going into time and him not being able to have enough damage to put on board to win, and where Trickstars can profit from that, I think he understood that. So I just wanted to throw that out there too, that, you know, maybe it's time for us to start, you know, not really hounding about the game ending procedures, but maybe just building a deck to where the game ending procedures does not become a problem. You know, speed up the duel, make sure duels don't take too long. Just rely on your, you know, power of your deck. Don't rely on, you know, trying to steal games, because we're gonna see that's gonna get us nowhere. So anyways, that's it for my video here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my video. If you guys like what I said, and you guys agree with me on giving this Thomas Rose full credit for winning the Nationals, and not just because of one damn card, because, like I said, that's really frustrating for me, because you're just basically slapping this guy in the face. I'm not going to do that. I'm giving guys full credit, and if you guys want to give him full credit, hit that like button. Also, if you guys haven't already done it, subscribe to my channel, and also hit the notification bell so you guys get notified every time I upload a video. Also, leave a comment below and tell me what you guys think. Do you guys agree with me, or do you guys disagree with me and think that the Nat Beast was the full-on reason why this guy won? Like I said, I totally disagree with that, so that's just my opinion. I would love to hear your guys' opinion. And also, if you guys don't know, I do have a Twitch channel. I do stream on there the Duel Links game. If you guys want to play Duel Links with me, go ahead and hit me up on there. I'm going to start streaming again next week. I just haven't done it lately. I've just been busy. But I'm definitely going to try and make time to do that. And that's it.